Well, hello everyone. First, I want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July, Independence Day. Big deal. A lot of people right now, a lot of Americans, especially, of course, snowflakes, millennials, whatever, they're not interested in celebrating 4th of July. I'm just telling you from my personal experience, my Independence Day was when I became American citizen. Dinesh D'Souza talked about this just recently. He said when he became, I don't know what year, but he became an American citizen is when he looks at his Independence Day, because we know people from different countries that escaped poverty, socialism, communism like I did. I don't know exact story from Dinesh, but I'm just saying that whatever he said, to me, I really agree with him. It resonates with me, maybe not with you. So yeah, I became a U.S. citizen last year. Real quick personal story on that part. And then I quickly joined U.S. military. I didn't stay too long, but I got in. I tried. I was a troublemaker. I wanted to not be in the streets because all I knew back then as a teenager, the way I grew up, which I'm going to tell you guys today, a little bit more about what happened back in the 90s in Europe. I did not know any better, okay? All I did is I was stealing, lying, cheating, trying to survive. Whatever skills I had to use in order to survive. Because that's what socialism, communism does. It never fails. Every time it's implemented, it has 100% success. I did a video, actually, I named it, Socialism has 100% success rate, unless you stop it. If you don't let it spread like cancer, that's what it is. But a lot of you out there, liberals that possibly click on this channel and they start making comments and you think you know it all. I'm here to tell you, you have no idea what is about to happen here. Few patriots waiting on trusting the plan while the country is completely taken over by communists. This is a problem. It's not going to get better. So I'm going to just tell you, you're going to see, these are my personal stories that I'm going to share with you because I had a lot of requests, especially on Parler. People were asking me, sending me emails, messages inbox on Parler to tell my story, and I will. I'll tell you exactly what happened, and I'm going to name this one story number 1, okay? We're going to start, I'm going to probably make 10 or 20, we'll see. And who knows, one day maybe I have a book out. That's obviously the objective of doing anything online. When you start getting a bigger following base, that might lead into that. If it doesn't, it's fine. If you guys don't think this is interesting, let me know. If you think I'm lying, let me know. So 1990, I'm going to start with 1990, ex-Yugoslavia territory. I don't want to get into details exactly where I was due to personal reasons. So I was 12, 13 years old, in that range. We had some issues. It started to be really bad when it comes to, let's say, sporting events. A lot more stabbings and shootings than usual. Europe can get pretty bad when it comes to soccer games. I went to a lot of them as a teenager. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, and I enjoyed it because that's kind of how you grow up around. The more trouble, the more I was interested in. But these were now turning into real bad crimes just based on you're from this part of the country versus that one. So people wanted to hurt you, not because just of the team. It was a lot bigger than that because of mainstream media was pushing all this hate and divisiveness that you see here. It led pretty quickly from there to turn, to break in windows, looking at people's last names, where they exactly come from. So they knew who owned certain, let's say, I don't know, coffee shops, boutiques, stuff like that, like small businesses. And they call it, I guess in English you would translate it, Glass Night. It happened right around 1990, could be 1991. So I'm going to talk within these 2 years in that range first on my part 1 video. So they call it Glass Night. A lot of people got together and they just smashed all the windows for whoever was not welcome there. I think you guys get the idea, because you can kind of like compare to what's happening today in America. That's kind of how quickly it escalated, and then it got even worse. My mom, being a teacher, she lost her job. So we had issues with, basically having food at the table. And then here comes hyperinflation in 1992, which I talked about in the previous video. You can check it out. I think I named it How Communism Kills. So take a look at that one. It's the one before this one. I thought it was pretty good. That's the first one I did when I got a little bit more into a personal story. So I also asked, someone asked me a question when I said the government took our car. It was not exactly my family, because we did not have any cars. My dad was just one of those, whatever, I'll figure it out. But I've seen neighbors, like literally next door to me. These people were pretty wealthy, and government just came in and they had 3 cars, and they took one of their cars. And the other neighbor above us had 2 cars, and the government came in, military came in with some paperwork. Who knows what? It just basically says, as I remember, nobody had any real answers besides we are at civil war basically, and national emergency. So we have the right to take your car because it's used for military purposes, okay? So as we were getting more and more worried through hyperinflation, basically if you had a little savings, you could not buy anything with it. Devaluation of the currency, with all the social unrest that is again playing out just the way it was back there right now. You don't see it yet with the dollar, but unfortunately soon you will. I went over this also in previous videos. Check them out. You might want to, okay? Unless you want to be complacent and completely wiped out. So I suggest you to take a look at some of those and share it with your family and friends. And then we got to the point now that, like I said, we had now no food. There was literally nothing to eat. If United Nations did not come in with their, tanks, trucks, whatever, helicopters dropping food, they were late for that particular day. You had no food. So my dad would go out and try to find an abandoned car, or even break into it, or borrow from some of his buddies that, they were playing card games back then, and this guy went somewhere, didn't even come back. So we end up with this car with no plates or nothing. He would go to his sisters, or brothers. He had 2 sisters and a brother, a lot of family all around in villages. We lived in the city. It was about 30 miles away, what I can remember. And these people had a lot of food. They were making their own bread, baking bread, cheese. They had, bacon, hanging all the, the meats in one of these, not basements, but I forget the name. But you get the idea. Just really old, kind of cool, but I never cared for it too much until I had to. So now I know how to prepare, and I know what worked. So people who lived off the grid did pretty well if they can avoid paramilitary groups that were coming through and just slaughtering people. But if you had weapons, if you had a lot of cousins that got together, well, then you could obviously protect what you have. Who had gold, silver, art, anything like that, hard tangible assets, really good stuff. Again, you don't have to listen to me. You can continue listening to the mainstream media and whoever is in the current White House, or who is going to be the next president or the previous president. All of this is a bunch of nonsense and lies. I'm telling you how it is. So I just covered pretty quickly. I don't want to make this video go longer than 10 minutes. Right now I see it's about 9 minutes. I'm going to try to keep it short, and I guess you can call it sweet. I don't know if I'm really sweet or not, but that's up to you to decide. But yeah, happy Independence Day. More personal stories coming up. I got a lot because the war I lived in lasted for 6 years, and that's when I left. I left that crazy area in 1996 is when I got to Chicago, and then joined the military just a few months later. So that is my story. God bless you all, and we'll talk soon. My stock picks are coming up probably Sunday night, and when I say stock picks, I'm going to try to give you a little bit of inside info, what I see possibly happening, but then I really pick them once the market starts going, a few hours in, I make my entrances, exits, and I keep you guys posted if you're interested in that. If not, keep it super simple. Keep it super simple. KISS. If you got $1,200 to your name, you're in the world of hurt anyways, buy $200 worth of silver. You can get about 9 ounces right now of physical silver for $200. Again, talk to you guys later. Hope you like this video, and we'll talk soon.